Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Buckle up because what we're hearing is nothing short of explosive. Rumors swirling through NFL circles suggest that the Cincinnati Bengals, currently struggling at 2-5 with a defense giving up an alarming 28. 6 points per game, are planning a blockbuster move that could shake the AFC East and beyond. And at the center of this potential shakeup is none other than T. Higgins, a player whose name has been buzzing in league whispers for weeks now. The Bengals, in their quest to rebuild, are reportedly eyeing a trade that would send Higgins to the Bills in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a third-rounder in 2025. Yes, you heard that right. The Bills, sitting at 3-4 but still very much alive and fighting for their playoff spot, might be on the verge of landing a game-changing receiver who could be the missing piece for their offense. Now, let's take a moment to understand what this really means. The Bengals, in a season that's been marred by injuries and underperformance, are looking to clear cap space, about $13 million, and add draft capital as they pivot toward a rebuild. Their quarterback, Joe Burrow, hasn't quite looked himself either, with a QBR of 84, 9 in a slump, and their offensive line giving up nearly 4 sacks a game. They're desperate for reinforcements on both sides of the ball, especially on defense where they need significant upgrades, and they're betting that moving Higgins, who's been somewhat frustrated with reduced targets in Cincinnati, could be the right move to kickstart a new chapter. Higgins, at just 26 years old, is a physical marvel. Standing 6'4" and weighing 219 pounds, he's the archetype of a contested catch specialist, and his stats this season back that up. With a PFF grade of 87, 8 for his career, he's proven to be a reliable target, especially in tight coverage. In 2025, until September 15th, Higgins recorded 26 receptions for 382 yards and 3 touchdowns. His yards per reception is impressive at 14.7, and he's averaging 2 yards after the catch per target. But what makes him truly valuable to the Bills isn't just the raw numbers. It's his contested catch rate, which stands at an incredible 89%. Placing him among the NFL's elite in that category. That's the kind of receiver who can go up against the toughest coverage and come down with the ball, especially in the red zone where he's proven to be a threat. And let's not forget his ability to make plays in critical moments. Higgins has a career total of over 200 receiving yards and 32 touchdowns despite facing some injury setbacks, including a shoulder injury that caused him to miss 2 games earlier this season. But when he's healthy, he's a force, especially in the red zone. In 2025, he's already shown his prowess with 108 yards against the Ravens in Week 7, and his contested catch percentage has risen by 13% in the red zone compared to previous seasons. His ability to stretch the field with an average of 14.7 yards per reception makes him a perfect complement to the Bills' existing receiving core, which has been somewhat inconsistent this season, partly due to injury and the lack of a true physical presence on the outside. Now, the Bills have been actively looking for ways to improve their roster, especially after their recent struggles on offense. They're sitting on roughly $15 million in cap space heading into the trade deadline, which gives them some room to maneuver. Moving for Higgins would not only give them a top-tier receiver, but would also send a clear message to the league that Buffalo is all in to contend again. And with Josh Allen at quarterback, who's been playing at a high level when protected, adding a receiver like Higgins could elevate their offense to new heights. Allen's QBR of 92, 4 in 2025, and his completion percentage of 68% show that he's in sync, and he's been thriving when throwing to players like Shakir, who's been emerging as a reliable option. But Higgins, with his physicality and ability to win contested catches, could truly unlock Allen's play-action game, which is already among the best in the league. Imagine a scenario where Higgins lines up on the outside, creating mismatches against opposing defenses. His size and contested catch ability would open up space for players like Kincaid, who excels in yards after the catch with an average of 5.4 yards per reception. This dynamic could boost Buffalo's red zone efficiency by a significant margin, possibly around 20%, making them even more dangerous in close games. And with Higgins' proven ability to perform under pressure, evidenced by his 89% contested catch rate and his success against press coverage, 90%, the Bills' offense could become much more explosive and consistent. Looking at the bigger picture, this potential trade could have profound implications for the AFC playoff race. The Bills, currently sitting just outside the top tier, could see their Super Bowl odds improve dramatically, from around +8-0 to a more reasonable +3-500 if Higgins proves to be the missing piece. In the playoffs, his ability to dominate in the red zone and make contested catches could be the difference in tight games against top contenders like the Chiefs or Dolphins. Buffalo has historically been a team that thrives on offense and defense that can make big plays, and adding Higgins could be the catalyst that pushes them into that elite echelon. His presence in the playoffs as an X-factor could help Buffalo secure more wins, especially in high-pressure situations where contested catches and red zone efficiency are crucial. But it's not just about the present. This move signals a shift in how the Bills are approaching their future. With Higgins potentially becoming a cornerstone of their offense, Buffalo would be investing in a player who can be a key piece for years to come. His age, combined with his physical tools and proven production, makes him a valuable asset that aligns with the Bills' long-term goals. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, trading Higgins now could be a strategic move to rebuild around Joe Burrow, especially if they're looking to add more draft picks to their arsenal for a future that might involve a total overhaul. The Bengals need to address their offensive line issues, improve their defense, and find ways to compete in a tough AFC landscape. Moving Higgins, who's earned a reputation as a top red zone target with a 15th-ranked 2025 red zone target rate, could free up cap space and draft capital to accelerate that rebuild. And let's not forget the emotional and strategic aspect of this potential trade. Higgins, who has been a key part of Cincinnati's offense, might be eager for a fresh start, especially if he feels his targets are diminishing or if he's seeking a more competitive environment. The Bills, on the other hand, are known for their aggressive approach and willingness to make bold moves when the stakes are high. This trade could be one of the most significant of the season, not just for what it means for the teams involved, but for the entire AFC playoff picture. It could tilt the balance of power, giving Buffalo a serious edge in the postseason hunt. Now, looking ahead, if this trade happens, it's going to be fascinating to see how the Bills incorporate Higgins into their offensive schemes. His YAC of 5.9 yards per catch and his ability to win 90% of his press coverage matchups suggest that he would be a nightmare for defenses. His ability to make big plays, averaging 1.5 per game of 20-plus yards, would open up the field for Allen and the rest of the offense. Plus, Higgins' track record of elevating his game in the red zone, similar to what we saw with Adams in 2022, could be the difference-maker in tight playoff games. The Bills' offensive efficiency could skyrocket, pushing their points per game into the top 10. And in the grand scheme of things, this move could be the final piece that elevates Buffalo from a talented team with some weaknesses to a genuine Super Bowl contender. Their odds might jump from +8-0 to +3-500, but more importantly, their confidence and their on-field performance could see a real boost. Higgins has the potential to be that X-factor, that player who makes the difference in close games, who steps up when it matters most in the playoffs. His contested catch ability, his size, and his experience in high-pressure situations make him a perfect fit for the Bills' style of play. And this is exactly the kind of move that could define the franchise's future, solidifying their status as serious contenders for the upcoming Super Bowl. But remember, folks, all of this is still speculation, at least for now. The NFL trade deadline is approaching, and teams are making moves or preparing to make moves. The Bills are in a prime position to make a statement by acquiring Higgins if these rumors prove true. It's a bold move, but if it comes to fruition, it could be one of the most impactful trades in recent NFL history. It's a story that's still developing, and we'll be watching closely to see if this blockbuster deal becomes a reality. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now, wrapping this all up, what does this mean for the Bills and their Super Bowl aspirations? Well, if they pull this off, it's a clear statement that Buffalo is serious about their championship window. They're willing to make bold moves, invest in top talent, and retool their offense to maximize Josh Allen's talents. Higgins, as a physical, reliable receiver with a proven track record, could be the perfect complement to Allen's play style. His ability to win contested catches and make big plays in critical moments could be the final puzzle piece that transforms the Bills into a true powerhouse. It would also send a message to the rest of the league that Buffalo is not just content to compete. They're here to win it all. And for the Bengals, this move signals a different kind of message. They're embracing the rebuild, focusing on future draft picks and cap flexibility. Losing a player like Higgins, who's been a key part of their offense, is never easy, but it's part of the bigger picture. The Bengals are betting on their ability to rebuild around Burrow and their young core, gathering assets to improve their defense and offensive line in the coming drafts. It's a calculated gamble that, if successful, could set them up for sustained success down the line. In conclusion, folks, this potential trade is more than just a player swap. It's a narrative about ambition, rebuilding, and contending. It's about the Bills looking to push their chips in and go all in on a Super Bowl run, while the Bengals focus on building for the future. Whatever happens, it's safe to say that the AFC East and the entire conference could be in for a wild ride in the coming weeks. Keep your eyes peeled, stay tuned, and as always, I'll be here to bring you the latest updates, analysis, and insights on everything Buffalo Bills. Because when it comes to the Bills, the story is never over. It's only just beginning.